Hello everyone, myself Dr. Kanis Mehdi from the Department of Education, Shia PG College. In this video, I am going to present before you Thondike's theory of learning. Theories of learning can be categorized under two major heads: stimulus response theories and field theories. Thondike's theory of learning falls within the first category, that is stimulus response theory with reinforcement. Further slides of this presentation will cover the theory of Thondike, the specially designed experiment, and his laws of learning, three laws of learning which he derived from the experiment. And beside three laws, there are 5 principles of learning which he gives, and we will be studying these laws and principles along with their educational significance. Now, before moving on to the theory, let us have a look on a brief introduction of E.L. Thondike. Born in Williamsburg, Massachusetts on 31st August 1874, did his PhD at Columbia University in 1898 and became an instructor at Teachers College at Columbia University in 1899. He was widely known for his contribution to the study of psychology. He is often referred to as America's most productive psychologist and the father of modern-day educational psychology. He contributed to research and theory in the field of learning, genetic psychology, testing, and social psychology. Thondike especially designed a puzzle box for his experiment on learning. In this slide, we can see that puzzle box in which the cat is sitting. A hungry cat was put in that box, and outside was a dish of food. In order to get out and eat the food, the cat had to work on lever attached to the door. When first put into the box, the cat struggled and scratched, pawed and mewed as if trying to escape from the cage. Ultimately, in its scratching and pawing, all things, the cat accidentally pulls the string, the door opens, and the cat walks out of the box and eats the food. Thondike promptly put the cat back in the box for next trial. Again the cat gave a lot of frantic behavior, but soon pulled the string again and escaped and received another bite of food. Over a series of trials, the cat became increasingly efficient in getting out of the box. So, on the basis of this experiment, this puzzle box experiment, it can be said that theory represents that learning is the result of association forming between stimuli and response. These associations or habits become strengthened or weakened by the nature and frequency of the stimulus-response pairing. The process of forming connections depends on the number of variables which operate in the environment and the organisms. These connections can be further strengthened by positive reinforcement. We can summarize this theory through these two statements, that reinforcers are those consequences that strengthen the associated behavior, whereas punishment, on the other hand, weakens and suppresses the response. Thondike in his experiment confirmed that two special features were necessary to guarantee learning. First, it was necessary for the cat to be hungry. If the cat had been well fed when it was put in the puzzle box, it might not have gotten out of the box in the first place and surely would not have shown any learning to get out. And second, he believed that food is necessary for cats' learning. Learning occurs if and only if the response has some effect upon the environment. Now, on the basis of his theory, Thondike derived 3 basic laws and 5 principles of learning. Here is a list of those laws and principles. We will be dealing each of them separately in further slides. Law of effect. Once the stimulus and response are associated, the response is likely to occur without the stimulus being present. It holds that responses that produce a satisfying or pleasant state of affairs in a particular situation are more likely to occur again in a similar situation. Conversely, responses that produce a discomforting, annoying, or unpleasant effect are less likely to occur again in the situation. Law of readiness states when a modifiable connection is ready to act, to do so is satisfying. When it is not ready to do so, it is unsatisfying. Readiness depends on both maturation and experience of the learner. Third law is law of exercise. If a response is practiced for a certain number of times, it will tend to be permanently established. Any repeated response gathers some strength. As a result, it becomes easier to repeat it again. Practice will result in strengthening of connections. Its discontinuance will result in weakening of connections, leading to forgetting. Beside his three laws, Thondike gave 5 principles of learning. Principle of multiple response. A learner tries many responses before attempting the right response through trial and error. The trial and error learning involves many factors as motive, the difficulty of barrier, aimless attempts, a successful trial, elimination of unproductive responses, and consolidation of successful responses. The significance of trial and error learning in the education is that the learner gets wide experiences and chance to experiment themselves. They learn from their own errors. The teacher should provide help when required. Next is principle of mental set. It is very much related to the law of readiness. It refers to the predisposition to act in a given way. It is more or less a temporary condition of one's attitude, feelings, and interest. For learning to occur, positive mental set is in pupil is very essential condition. The teacher can prepare students for various activities in advance. Teachers assist to develop positive attitude is very helpful for pupils. Principle of partial activity. A response made only to parts or aspects of the whole than to the totality. Initially, response even in fractional part is sufficient to elicit it with intensity. Next is the principle of assimilation. The analogous content, situations, principles, and other learning material are learned easily because they are identified with previous experiences of the learner. Principle of associative shifting. The new learning material can be associated with previously learned content through this principle. The teacher must provide similarities between the new and the old situation, leading from the known to unknown, relating the textbook abstraction with real life experiences. So with this, we come to the end of a presentation, and to conclude, we can say for almost half a century, this theory of Thondike has been the dominant one in school practice. It is, however, now being modified and reformed in terms of other theories that have emerged since his theory. Thank you.